So yes, good morning. It is that time of the week again, fitness fragrance review time. We are obviously working through, if you see my videos lately, through some clone fragrances. I recently bought 6 on the Essence Vault website because it was on an amazing sale. It was 6 for £45, yes, 6 100ml. And the reason I really wanted to buy these clones, or the one fragrance I wanted to get in particular, the scent vibe I wanted to replicate, was Creed Aventus, one of the most well-known fragrances, certainly within the fragrance community. It has been spoken about on YouTube, and many fragrance influencers, whatever you want to call them, yeah, they've spoken about this one. And I have got the Essence Vault 200 Plus, which is a clone of Creed Aventus. Now, where's the plus come from? Because there's an Essence Vault 200, which is also a clone of Creed Aventus. Well, obviously, this is a bestseller. As you can imagine, a lot of people want the clones of those real high-end popular scents. Creed Aventus is probably number one. It's certainly in the top 4 or 5. And they essentially did this 200 plus more for the fragrance purists. That's what they called it anyway, because they said this one they've enhanced the pineapple, which is obviously very prominent. It's a big selling point of this fragrance, and also the birch, which gives that smokiness. That smoky pineapple is the thing in, well, Creed Aventus that everyone talks about. So I really wanted to get this one. This was the one out of all the 6 fragrances that made me even go on the website in the first place. So really looking forward to giving it a review today. Had some experience with Creed Aventus before, smelled it in a couple of shots, but the only problem I've had with that one is it's normally empty. The tester bottle's been sprayed so many times. I can tell you a story about someone who's literally sprayed it 50, 60 times in a shop called House of Fraser. By the time I got around to it, couldn't even smell it because it was completely gone. So what I'm going to quickly do, I'm going to go through the note breakdown of this one. But if you haven't seen a fitness fragrance review, essentially it's a morning workout today, so I'll go for a run, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while reviewing this, and we'll rank it on 5 categories. So it's price, value for money, how versatile it is, how much it projects during my run, and obviously I'll do a room spray test. We'll also look at its compliment factor. Do I think people say good things about it? And its longevity, and we'll see if it survives my workout, and also having a shower later. So stop wasting time, Harry. Let's quickly get into the note breakdown before we go for our run. What is in the Essence Vault 200 Plus? Well, the note breakdown, thankfully, is very similar to that one in the original Creed Aventus. So we've got the top here, we've got the pineapple, as we said earlier. That's the real selling point of this fragrance. Bergamot and blackcurrant, so it's kind of this fruity opening essentially. Just going to quickly spray it again just to remind myself. Yeah, and you certainly get that pineapple, but it's not a really sort of juicy pineapple. Zara Bogos Vibrant Leather, that's really juicy, it's just like 100% pineapple. This one in the opening, it's the main thing you're detecting. Maybe get a slight bit of fizz from that bergamot, not too much of the blackcurrant. And blackcurrant can be a strong note in fragrances, but don't particularly pick that one up. Then we go to the middle, it talks about rose, jasmine, and birch. Again, I don't detect rose. Rose can be a really strong note. I'm not getting that personally. I do maybe get that slight, I don't want to say feminine edge from the jasmine, but it's light. It's lightened up the pineapple. It's taken the sort of sweetness away from it, made it a little bit cleaner smelling. And you do get, of course, as we very much know in Creed Aventus, that smoky edge from the birch. But at the moment, it's still more the fruity pineapple that is taking over this fragrance, which I'm sure it will change as it starts to dry down. But if we look at the base, oak moss, musk, ambergris, and vanilla. So woody, musky, slightly sweet. I don't really get the vanilla. I don't. I think I'd be looking for it and sort of lying if I said I can detect it. I do get that clean musk, and I do think the oak moss in this gives it that masculine edge, because when you hear like notes like jasmine and pineapple, you're going to think this is going to be quite unisex. But I do think that birch, which obviously gives that slight smokiness, and the oak moss, which gives that fougere, barbershop, more masculine vibe, shaving cream sort of vibe, I think that is coming through as well. But again, it's not really prominent. It's not as prominent. It's not like a green fragrance or anything along those lines. So the main things I'm really picking up from this at the moment is the pineapple, is the birch, and is that musk and ambergris oak moss combination. Yeah, it's their slight masculine and quite versatile ambergris, ambroxan, which is like the molecule of it these days. It kind of is that blue type fragrance, and that gives a lot of versatility. It's not a blue fragrance, this is definitely the pineapple that's the most prominent, but there is that element of versatility which we'll talk about more, which you do get, and I think it's those notes in the base there working in combination together. But what we're going to do, go out for our run now, we're going to do the first 2 categories. We're going to look at its price slash value for money for this fragrance, and then also its versatility. So yeah, I will see you out there. It is freezing this morning. It's actually frosty outside. We're on Easter Monday, the 6th of April, as I film this, and we are talking about the Essence Vault 200 Plus, the clone of Creed Aventus. For those who are more of a fragrance purist, apparently it's a better blend, a better clone of this scent. So price value for money, very quickly touch on that. It's £25 for 100ml if you're buying this on the Essence Vault with no sort of offer or no sort of bundle buy, bulk buy. Do I think that's good value for money? Well, look, I mean, if any fragrance is £200, £300 and you're getting the same scent for 20 odd quid, you can't really complain, can you? But I do want to also touch on another fact which makes this a good price. My brother bought what he thought was the original Creed Aventus on eBay years ago. You know, the bottle looked identical, and it arrived and we were like, I think this is it, and he only spent like £30. And we thought that was really weird, and then I think my brother noticed something on the bottle. There was something that was not quite right, and he never was able to obviously prove or disprove whether it was that. But you've got to be really careful. There's a lot of brands out here, a lot on eBay in particular, that try and replicate this or say it is the original, and it's not. So I do think it's good that you've got these genuine clone houses that are replicating that scent, not trying to actually just completely copy it with the same bottle and everything and scam you. So just be aware of that, because, you know, I know a lot of brands do that. This one, you can be sure, roughly smells like the original Creed Aventus, and for obviously a fraction of the price, which is what you want with a clone fragrance. Now, in terms of the scent quality, does it smell really natural? No, you know, the pineapple doesn't smell particularly natural. Pineapple tends to be quite synthetic in perfumery, I tend to find anyway, and that's the most dominant thing here. What I would say, this one compared to the original, which I've smelled on a couple of occasions, it does lack a little bit more of that depth. Look, in the air like this, if someone was passing me, you probably wouldn't notice a huge difference. But if you're someone who's very familiar with the original Creed Aventus by Creed, then you're going to go, yeah, this one, the smokiness isn't as high quality. The pineapple, the fruitiness isn't quite as high quality. And to be honest with you, I also think about performance as well with Creed. Can the performance match up to the original? I don't think this one does. Creed fragrances tend to be quite strong, and while Aventus isn't one of their strongest, it still, you know, would get you through the day. This one feels like it would take more of a supporting role. You know, you'd almost want the original and this to maybe just top up through the day rather than have it in isolation. But if it's just the pure scent you want, you're pretty much getting it with this fragrance. But it doesn't wow me. I've smelt this DNA so much that personally it doesn't wow me, and I wouldn't want to pay any more for this, knowing that you can get, you know, cheap dupes in Marks and Spencer's, for example, Zara, you know, shops have copied the smell, the scent DNA of this one. So I'm going to give value for money 7.5 out of 10. It's nothing wrong with it, but it's nothing special. It's not like, oh, this has got to be the clone you got to get. And for that reason, yeah, I think Armath and some of the other ones that do replicate this are just as good, to be honest with you. You know, it was annoying me. I couldn't remember what the name of that clone was, but Armath, it's Club de Nuit, isn't it? About £25-26, so a similar price. And yeah, obviously a very popular clone. But let's go on to versatility then for Creed Aventus, or let's not say Creed Aventus, the Essence Vault 200 Plus. That's what we mean, the Creed Aventus DNA. Do I think it's a versatile fragrance? Yes. But this is extremely versatile. You've got the citrus, you've got that fruitiness, you've got the floral components, and that slight green masculine edge that just blends together to make this really easy to pull off scent. One that you can wear in most occasions. I think the occasions I probably wouldn't wear it are obviously things like this, doing a workout, being in the gym, because of those smoky qualities, those more refined qualities this has. It's better than that. It's better than just being a, you know, a dumb reach type scent, for example. Even though the DNA is very wearable, you can wear it casually, you can wear it to the office, dress it up, dress it down. I don't think, personally, I'd want to be wearing it for the gym. There's better ones, but I'd want to go for something a bit more aquatic, which this fragrance doesn't lend itself to. But again, if you were to buy the original Creed Aventus, I think that's what has its selling point, is you could just own that scent and it could pretty much get you through the day and make you smell grown up, sophisticated, high quality, but also have the mass appeal. You know, this is signature scent. You know, if you wanted to just buy this, you know, the Essence Vault 200 Plus,
just to do all your jobs, it's going to do them absolutely fine. There's nothing about this that's going to be divisive. You know, it has that, I suppose, attractive qualities to it where you could wear it to a job interview and be remembered for the right reasons, or if you wanted those more intimate settings, it's a very popular DNA. People have bought these fragrances and obviously they've cloned these fragrances because people have said good things about them over the years, and you can see why for good measure. That iconic pineapple smokiness is brilliant, and yeah, I'm very glad that there are clones of this one, because it just means for someone like myself who can't afford to fork out £300-400 just to test the scent, you can get it for a good price. So this one is very versatile. I'm just going to mark it down for the fact I think a younger person's still going to be more suited to those more blue aquatic flavors. I still think they're a little bit more versatile, but for anyone else, you know, again, I wouldn't use it in the gym, but for everyone else, use it wherever, whenever, all year, all seasons, all occasions. 9.5 out of 10. Right, when we get back, we will talk about versatility. We won't, we've just spoken about versatility. I'm tired already, I'm out of breath. We'll talk about projection and how much I'm noticing it during my run.
Workout done, it is now time to test for projection. So you haven't seen this before. Essentially, I'm going to spray my room 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. And this is really just to see if someone came in, a colleague, if you're in the office, or a family member, if you're at home, would they come in and go, oh, your room smells nice, you've got a lovely fragrance on, what are you wearing? I'm also going to test for longevity. Now, the gym is shutting early again today. It's just gone 9:10. Spray arms both sides. So basically what I'll do now is I'll walk to the gym in a minute. 3 hours time will go by the time I've had a shower and finished my workout. And I really just want to see if you can still smell the fragrance on my arms. I won't apply it again in that time. And yeah, well, that'll be our test for longevity later. But what we'll do, we'll head downstairs, have something to drink. We'll talk about how much I noticed the fragrance during my run. Lovely green tea today. So let's talk about projection during my run. How much did I notice the Essence Oil 200 Plus during my workout? Not at all. I'm really disappointed to say that. I really am. But from my experience, I just sprayed a little bit last night, wore it to bed, sprayed a little bit this morning, obviously, for my run. And there's nothing. There's really nothing with this. And what sort of annoys me with this is they've got the Essence Vault 200, which obviously is a clone as well of Creed Aventus. And they've said this 200 Plus is essentially a bit more of a scent DNA. It's a little bit more like the Aventus, a bit more refined, more for your fragrance enthusiast. But it just smells to me like, what that kind of says to me is they're almost saying the original Essence Vault 200, the clone they've done, isn't as good as this one. Improve that one. Do you know what I mean? Don't make two different ones. I feel like this is just my opinion. I haven't smelt that one, so I can't judge it. But if they're both meant to smell like Aventus, and you're basically saying this one's better, it's more refined, it's more for your enthusiast, but you're charging the same price, I just feel a bit confused. I feel like this plus that they've added to this, you know, the name of this fragrance essentially should have been make it more intense, really bring out that fragrance, make it stronger essentially, more of an intense version. And it isn't that. And they do have a line where they have a more intense version of this, but it's almost like they didn't need to re-release a different one. To me, it feels like, and again, this may be me being ultra critical. I had a good run. I don't know why I'm saying this in such a bad mood. It almost feels to me like they've gone, that 200 is our best seller, real top. People are buying that. How can we get extra sales? Let's put a 200 plus out and say it's more for your fragrance enthusiasts to bring them in. And I've obviously fallen for that trap in that sense. I don't think this is, you know, personally, there's nothing about this one that I think's really standing out to me at the minute. I've never been a huge fan of Aventus DNA from when I've smelt it before. It didn't wow me. It's just, but more it's that performance than the scent. There was no projection, didn't notice it, didn't really help me during my run. But we'll head upstairs in a minute. We'll see how much it's filled the room. Hopefully we'll get a bit better performance on that one. But so far, very disappointed. So up we go. Let's see if we can get some score on projection here. Because at the moment, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a 1 out of 10. Ooh. Nothing as we come up. Now, the notes in this fragrance you wouldn't expect particularly to linger in a room, but you never know if that smokiness. I'll be honest, I think I'd be looking for it if I said I can smell it. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10 on projection. I'm disappointed. As I said, it feels like it should be better than this. And Look, if you're going to make a scent better, let's just assume that the 200 plus is better than the 200 and the clone's really, really good. Exactly the same as the Aventus, you know, barely notice any difference, which is fine. I don't disagree with that necessarily. I want something to make this one stand out. This is no different. You know, I've got a clone. Well, I've got a phrase called Marks and Spencer's Cool Veteran in my drawer. I've done reviews on that one if you haven't seen it before. And people have always said that smells like Creed Aventus, and it does. And it does pack more of a punch, certainly within that first hour. And as I said, if you're having this as a top-up spray, which is where I think this one would work best, I think Corvetta is better. You know, it's £15 cheaper. So at the moment, I'm just going to have to be honest and say 1 out of 10 for projection. But what we'll do, we will head to the gym now. I'll talk about compliment factor on the way. How much do I think this scent can get compliments? Do I think, even though it isn't projecting very well, people can say nice things about it if you do buy it? So moving on to compliment factor, do I think the Essence Walk 200 Plus is a compliment getting scent? Well, despite my reservations and the fact that I think it's a bit boring and generic, the smell of that Aventus DNA, you cannot fault the fact it has been around a long time and many people are obviously copying it like this fragrance is. It's got the mass appeal, it's easy to pull off, and as we touched upon earlier, that versatility means you can wear it in more situations where more people will mention it. You know, so whether that's dressing it up, whether that's just wearing it casually, you've got plenty of opportunities to wear it summer, winter, and that means probably in this lifespan, even though this one, it falls down on the fact its projection's not very good, and obviously a load of people do know this one, that versatility means, yeah, you're going to get some nice comments along the way. And I think it's one of those things, is it bad that it's something that everyone knows, and let's be honest, has mass appeal, because that doesn't mean that you stand out. And I think it really depends on what you're trying to do, because obviously if you're just someone who wants to smell clean and nice through the day, not really trying to impress anyone, people are going to like this. You know, that's it. You're going to have people say good things about you, but are you going to be memorable? You might be popular but not memorable, if that makes sense. If you wanted to be that person that stands out because of your scent, I don't think this one is for you. For me, look, I'm a really boring person. And you can tell from my videos, I do the same thing every day. I'm a bit strange, aren't I, in terms of doing all these things? But that probably means I need the fragrance to do something for me a bit more, to do a little bit more of the legwork. Some people are probably these really, you know, bold, bright personalities, a bit more outgoing than I am. They probably don't need their scent to do that. They just need the scent to sort of complement the other things that they're really good at. So I think for those people, this would be more than enough. But for me, in terms of the things I do, I probably need something that's a little bit more, you know, a little bit more standout. So for that reason, what can I give compliment factor? It's not bad. There's a reason why, as I said, these clones exist. And that's because these are popular scents that have had good feedback. So I'm going to give it, an 8 out of 10. Look, I think if it was the actual original Aventus or one that was a little bit more intense, I'd probably go 9.5. I think, again, I can't look past the fact that projection is not very good. And I don't think it smells really high quality. So for that reason, I'm just going to mark it down that a little bit. But of course, if we do get in the gym today, we'll bump up to a 10. So it's nearly 12 o'clock. I've left the gym with about 4 minutes to spare. I'm that awful person that comes in at the end, or you know, when like you work in a shop or anything, you just want that person to go. It's taking ages to get out of the shower. But anyway, let's test for longevity for the Essence Walk 200 Plus. I'm not expecting anything at all here, to be honest with you. It's been about 3 hours. Tell you what, I'm pleasantly surprised. That's not bad. Actually, the staying power here has surprised me the most in a positive way. It's probably about 50-60% as strong as it was, maybe even more than that, because it was so sort of calm and so tame to start with. It was, you know, the projection was so poor, and so I didn't have any expectation. But no, that is still there. That's still lingering on my skin. Now, to be honest with you, do I think if someone was nearby, they'd particularly be able to smell it? Not really. I think if someone's going to notice this, they'd almost have to be lying on your chest, or, you know, really right up close to you to notice this. And that's because it's not strong to start with. That's not because the longevity on this is poor. It's just it doesn't have much strength essentially to start with. But that pineapple has really held on well, and that's obviously the main thing people like about this scent. And it is pleasant. That I'm always quite critical of
this one, and it's not, you know, it's not the clone's fault, it's not anything that's tried to clone its fault, it's not the original fault, it's just, it's been, in my opinion, overdone, but it doesn't particularly wow me anyway. But I can see why it is so popular, and do you know what, I'm never going to get sick of it. It's one of those sort of scents where I feel like 10, 20, 30 years, my opinion won't change. I won't love it more, I won't hate it more, it'll just always be what it is, and that's okay. That's why it's lasted the test of time. People haven't gone off it. I don't think this is a scent that's going to go out of fashion, and yeah, it feels right for this sort of time of day. You know, it's midday, not, you know, it's lovely weather at the moment, but it's not too hot, not too cold. I'm not wearing anything too smart, too casual, and that's where it works best. That's, you know, coming out the shower of the gym, perfect. So I'm going to give it, for longevity, it has surprised me. I was expecting to give this about 4 or 5. I'm going to give it a 9. Now, as I said, it's not amazing in terms of its strength, but it has had its staying power. Maybe that's where the plus element should come into the effort. It says that the 200 plus isn't for you fragrance enthusiasts, it's for those who want that extra longevity, because it certainly has ticked the box there. But what we'll do, we'll head back, I'll count up all the scores, and I'll give my overall thoughts. We are back. So it is nearly 1:30. It is 1:25. I have managed to do a lot of steps, 43,073 steps, all while wearing today this fragrance here, the Essence Vault 200 plus, the Creed Aventus clone. So what was the total score it got based on the 5 categories we've done today? It's done all right. It's got 35 out of 50, so essentially 70% of the total marks. Now, it could have been even better. The projection was so poor, and that was really what upset me the most with this race. They just didn't project, didn't notice it in my run, didn't fill up my room, anything like that. But actually, if it'd done a little bit better on that, this would have got a big score. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Personally, would I buy this one again? No, I wouldn't. I just feel like, for me, it's a scent that doesn't wow me. And I have to ask myself the question, is it because I've just smelt it so many times? Or if this was the first time, do I just maybe not really like the scent DNA? Does it just not excite me? And I think it's the latter. I just don't think, look, everyone has their own opinions. Fragrances is subjective. For me, this one just doesn't do enough for me to really excite me. Even if it was the first time I smelled it, I would have said the same. It just, yeah, it's, I don't want to say generic and boring, but it doesn't, yeah, it's versatile. You can use it in many situations. And in that sense, it can't have that real statement boozy vibe, because then it's going to be marked down in other situations where you can't wear it at the gym, for example. But it's very pleasant. It is very, very pleasant. I have to say, I'm really impressed with that longevity. It's nice to finish on a high note, a high score at the end there. But there's so many clones. I'm not going to sit here and say you need to go and get this one, the Aventus 200 plus, because yeah, it's okay. It is just okay. But there are other alternatives. You know all the ones out there. Club de Nuit, you know, the Essence will do many clone fragrances, and I think there are better ones out there. Do I think they needed to release a plus version if they already had a 200 version? I still don't. But again, I'm going to put it on now. I don't dislike this fragrance. I'm never going to get bored of the smell particularly, but I don't think I'm ever going to go, oh, I absolutely love that. But the pineapple, if you like pineapple fragrances, if you know this fragrance, let's be honest, most of you probably know what this smells like anyway. It smells like the original, you know, that's the one thing. Don't think it smells as high quality up close. But if you do catch some of that projection in the air, I think it is pretty similar. But yeah, personally, that's just my opinion of it. You know, if you, all I would say is if there was someone who absolutely loves the smell of Aventus and just wants something to work alongside that, then this is a great top-up spray. I think if you love Aventus that much, for me, I'd still say go and get the original, go and get the best, because that's what you want to treat yourself to. If I had a fragrance I absolutely love more than any, I'd probably treat myself to the original, ask for it for a birthday, a special birthday, certainly. My 30th this year. I haven't mentioned it enough, have I? But like tobacco vanilla, I'd probably just get the original rather than the clones if I really loved it that much. And I'd say the same here for Aventus. But yeah, it's done well. It's got 35 out of 50. Nothing wrong with it. It's just personal preference. And that's why I say I'll try and be as honest as I can be. Ultimately, I spend my own money on this. I accept there's going to be some I don't like. I accept there's going to be others that have exceeded my expectations. And hopefully, with the other clones that I'm going to be doing over the next few days, I'll have a few more that do exceed my expectations rather than disappoint me. But tomorrow, I'll have a little think. I'll try and break the Creed ones up. I've got Creed Viking and Millicent Imperial to do. We might look at,
It'll either be the Tom Ford Noir or the Aqua de Joe original one. So yeah, really looking forward to doing those, and hopefully you'll join me for those ones as well. But thanks for watching this one today. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I look forward to hearing your thoughts as well. Catch you later.